Boeing CEO Dave Calhoun has announced his resignation after weeks of pressure for change at the company. It's part of a major shakeup of the aircraft maker's top management after a string of safety incidents that led to the grounding of some 737 MAX and 787 Dreamliner jets. CEO Dave Calhoun will step down at the end of 2024, almost a year to the day since Boeing's latest safety scandal. The overhaul also extends to Chairman Larry Kellner and CEO of its commercial planes division, Stan Deal. The plane maker has faced increased scrutiny since a door plug blew out mid-air on an Alaska Airlines flight on January 5th. As a result, the company's shares are down around 25% since the start of the year. Major airlines have said Boeing's troubles are bleeding into their businesses due to the slowdown in its output as it deals with its mounting problems. And the FAA gave Boeing 90 days to come up with a quality control plan. If it fails to meet the deadline, it could face ramifications. Let's get more on this now with Anita Medurata in London. She's founder and president of consultancy firm Anita Medurata and Associates. Thank you for being with us today.
For having me.
So first of all, can you help us understand more about what's happening and what's the latest with Boeing and with the shakeup that's currently ongoing at the company's management?
Thank you. And thank you very much for having this important conversation because it affects all of us as global travelers, truth be told. What's happening, as we know, is that there's been a significant leadership shakeup at Boeing. This was announced on Monday, and it's had ramifications at a board level, at a leadership level, and right through the leadership structure, quite honestly, because of the moves that have taken place. It is a very dramatic turn that has occurred. And importantly, it's not just about Boeing, it's about all of global aviation. Because with all of the incidents that you've spoken about and all the incidents that we know that have been taking place for over the last 2 years, the conversation around safety of aircraft has moved from boardrooms to dining rooms. It's become very much a conversation of the traveling public. So the changes that are happening are very much fueled, pardon the pun, by what has been put in place by the FAA, which at the end of February gave Boeing 90 days for a new plan in terms of safety and security of one of their most popular carriers, which is the MAX 737 MAX. Now, it's important to notice that there are 1,420 MAX currently in the industry itself in terms of in the market, and there are more than 500 still on order. It was one of the most preferred short and long haul aircraft, not only because of its fuel efficiency, but because of the number of passengers it carried.
Right.
So when MAX is grounded, travel is grounded. That's the concern.
Really interesting what you say. I'd also like to ask you, why do you think all this has been happening to Boeing as a company? We had some analysts on this program actually saying that it had much to do with certain rules around diversity and inclusion. Do you agree?
That is a part of it, I would believe, but we must remember as well that during COVID, over 1,600 commercial aircraft were grounded. And so the airlines have had to put all of them back in the air, and there are significant orders in terms of addressing the surge. So getting people back on the job, the industry lost travel and tourism, 120 million people during COVID. Bringing them back has been very difficult, especially because wages have gone up, the price of fuel has gone up, and therefore putting qualified people on the front line of production has become increasingly challenging. That, when you marry that to the demand that's coming in terms of airline orders, sadly, it is what one would call the perfect storm. And it's caused the shift from from productivity and safety into profits to eclipse the ability for aircraft to be done in a way that we can all as travelers feel confident is going to get us from A to B and make sure that Boeing remains in a position of pride and gravitas in the industry.
What do you expect? Do you think the company will be able to change and turn around the situation quite quickly? Because some analysts are obviously looking at the stock price right now, and that could obviously be an interesting entry point. What are your expectations?
Indeed. Well, they have 90 days as of the end of February. So technically, they only have 60 days left. And that's about the plan for the 737 MAX. What's important about that is them demonstrating a plan, absolutely, but also a leadership for the plan. And this is where it puts enormous pressure on Stephanie Pope, who's taken on as the new CEO from a commercial airlines perspective. So the plan is one thing. Confidence in delivery is another, because it's the confidence, the currency of confidence that's going to be vital, both both for the plan being accepted in 90 days and Boeing's safety and security as an investment going forward. So to your question, for anyone who is an investor, they might look at this and think, this is an interesting time because the industry and the world needs aviation for travel, tourism, and for trade. We need Boeing. They're one of the two most dominant leaders in terms of civil aviation, especially with 40% of the market, alongside Airbus of 60%. And as I said earlier, whatever is happening to Boeing is happening to the entire industry. So the credibility of the industry is going to be impacted by this, which means that all aspects, especially when it comes to transparency and trust, are going to be on the front line of investor confidence.
Very, very interesting. Anita Mendirata, thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much.